Hey there YouTube, this is Vargas XX78 with another collection pickup video. So let's get started. First off, I want to talk about these little guys. This lady had this whole table full of little stuffed animals, but I'm not a big stuffed animal collector. But because of another purchase I'm going to talk about, I rediscovered my love for Pokemon. So I picked up. She actually sold me both of them together for 5 pesos, which is under 50 cents. But I picked up this little Caterpie, and I picked up my favorite Pokemon of all time, Charizard. To this day, I think his design is the best. And personally, I have a lot of affection for Charizard because he's the first Pokemon I got from Professor Oak in the old Pokemon games. So I raised that Charmander to a Charmeleon to a Charizard, and to this day he's still my favorite Pokemon ever. So really happy to find old Charizard there, and his little friend here. And the reason why I started getting interested in Pokemon again is because a friend of mine uh, was selling off some of his old games. So there are some games that he bought and he didn't want anymore. I actually bought from him, I gave him the money for Metroid Other M, but he hasn't given me that one yet. But he did sell me all and give me 5 Game Boy Advance games. And the main one that I'm really happy to have gotten is Pokemon Fire Red. Unfortunately, you can't transfer the Pokemon from the older versions into the newer ones. So I was thinking of getting this one anyway because, like I said, I really wanted a Charizard on my newer team. So really happy to pick this one up. I'm gonna see if I can recreate the awesome team I have in the original Game Boy Red version. But this little card here is actually my 700th Nintendo game. So I'm really stoked about it. This little game that meant this remake of a game that meant so much to me, being my 700th Nintendo collection game. So really happy about that. But I also got from him, Pokemon Live Green, the classic NES series Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Brothers 3, and Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Duel Academy. So he gave me these 5 games for $20 and Metroid Other M for 15. But like I said, I'm still waiting for him to bring that game to me. At the swap meet today, this guy had a box full of Super Nintendo games, just a box full of them. But I already owned most of those games, but he was selling them at 20 pesos. So I picked up all the games I didn't own, and I wish I would have picked up actually some of the games I did already own for trades and stuff like that. But I didn't have that much money with me at the time. But I picked up from the guy Super Mario Brothers All Stars and Super Mario World. I actually own a copy of All Stars and Mario World, but I heard that this type of game is kind of hard to find, so I picked it up. Picked up the Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse, epic game by Capcom. They really worked magic on the NES and the Super Nintendo. Just really good games by that company. Picked up Super Mario Kart. I've been trying to track this game down for a long time in the wild. But here in Mexico, people want a lot of money for the card, and this guy had it at 20 pesos. Like I said, under $2. It's a little damaged here, but the game works, which is the important thing. And this little card is actually my 975th collection game between Nintendo consoles and Sony consoles. So not only is it an epic game, but it's one of my milestone games. So really happy to get this one. Picked up Star Trek: The Next Generation. Haven't played it, but Next Generation was my favorite TV show. It's one of the rare TV shows I followed from start to finish. So hopefully it's good. Picked up Tetris Attack. This one I have played. Really cool puzzle game. They actually made a sort of sequel in the N64 with Pokemon Puzzle Attack. So just really, really good puzzle game. There we go, I dropped him. Picked up Yoshi Cookie. Also have this version on the NES. It's not the best puzzle game, but it's kind of cool. Picked up Arkanoid, which is the Super Nintendo version of an old game that came out in arcades, but it's okay. And picked up Tetris and Dr. Mario, which is an updated version of the two best puzzle games on the NES. So also really happy to pick up these games because they're freaking awesome. Picked up a 1995 issue of Club Nintendo. This was actually after the E3 where they announced they were coming out with the Virtual Boy and Donkey Kong Country 2 and Killer Instinct for the Super Nintendo. It's kind of rare to find an old Club Nintendo magazine, so I picked it up because of that. But it's also really really fun to take a look at the past, at what was gonna be new and innovative back then. Because a lot of people hated the Virtual Boy, and I think the only big flaw is the color. That everything's red. But I thought it was innovative, and it really introduced 3D to the world before anyone else. Also picked up this month's Club Nintendo. This is after the E3 of this year, with a really weird pose for Mario there, but this is filled with E3 goodness. It's actually nothing but E3 news. But they showcase there the big new console, the Wii U, even though this is actually just the controller. But I'm really excited about that. I think they're going to introduce a lot of really cool possibilities with the Wii U, so yeah. Um, this lady had, at the same swap meet, had a bunch of deck cards there, but I wanted her to sell me these cards in particular because they're old. They're all Joker cards. Got a Joker card. Joker card. And being a Batman fan, I just couldn't resist picking up these Joker cards. But the lady gave them for free. Because I picked up some movies from her, and I also picked up this foil Goldeen because I'm still going through that Pokemon thing. Also at a swap meet, this guy was selling these Harry Potter books for 10 pesos because they're in English. And for some reason here in Mexico, not a lot of people speak or read English, so I've seen books go really, really dirt cheap. And as far as I can tell online, these are first edition hardcovers. So for 10 pesos, I thought that was a pretty badass deal. And, with the Harry Potter series ending in this month, I decided a long time ago that I was gonna watch the movies first, then track down the books. So yeah, it was fate. Fate was telling me that I was gonna read the books. So picked up Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, Prisoner of Azkaban, and the phone book thick-sized Goblet of Fire. So yeah, for 10 pesos each one, and they're all first editions, I could not pass that up. It's just too cool to pass up. Also picked up some movies. Picked up Michael Moore's Bowling for Columbine. This is actually, as far as I know, his first documentary, and a lot of people think his best, but haven't seen it. Picked up one of the most underrated Disney movies ever, Atlantis, The Lost Empire. I freaking love this movie. I love the animation. I love the story. As a comic book fan, this thing has an added bonus because the art design, or the designs of some of the things, was done by Mike Mignola, who's the creator of Hellboy. So really underrated. I don't know why a lot of people didn't love this movie, but I do. So picked up Bad Boys. Michael Bay's movie with Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. Funny movie. The action scenes are still cool. I rewatched this and it is still freaking awesome. One of my favorite action movies. Picked up Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within. A lot of people hate this movie, especially us gamers. If they would have released it without the Final Fantasy game, I still think it would have done better. But the animation is still pretty good, pretty cool in my opinion. So picked up Jet Li's Kiss of the Dragon. Really good martial arts movie. Picked up 28 Days Later. Really good horror movie. To this day, I don't know if the things are supposed to be zombies, vampires, or something in between, but really, really cool horror movie. I bought the UMD at a pawn shop, but I wanted to track down the DVD, and it's mine now. Picked up Stallone's Cliffhanger, one of Stallone's best movies in the 90s. The scenery is really cool. The action is cool. Just one of my favorite Stallone movies after the Rocky series and the Rambo series. Picked up the 1980 remake of The Blob. I'm still trying to track down the 50s version, but this movie is the one I saw as a kid, and so this is the one I remember the most. And I thought the special effects with the blob dissolving the people, that was pretty badass back then. So really good movie, one of the better remakes in my opinion. At Big Lots, they had this buy two movies for $5 sale. So I picked up Demolition Man again with Stallone and Wesley Snipes. I like the vision of the future that this movie has. Best line of is when they say that Schwarzenegger became the president, and Stallone's like, "Oh my god!" But really good action movie. Not as good as Cliffhanger, but still pretty decent. Picked up Steven Seagal's Under Siege. Steven Seagal for me ranks under Jean-Claude Van Damme. But this movie's pretty cool, especially because of a birthday cake scene. If anyone's seen this movie, you know what scene I'm talking about. But that scene alone sells the movie for me, because that is the best birthday cake scene I've seen in my life. So, yeah. Picked up Schwarzenegger's Commando. Really good action movie. The one-liners are really funny. Best one is when he has the guy upside down and, "Remember when I told you I would kill you last?" And like the guy's like, yeah, I remember. "I lied." And he lets him go and drops him. Really, really good movie. Picked up the first Species movie with Natasha Kingridge. The monster alien looks like a predator. It looks like a cross between a predator and an alien, but the movie is pretty cool. And Natasha Kingridge is mega hot in this movie, so. Picked up Power Rangers Turbo, the second Power Rangers movie. Still trying to track down the first one because that's the one I most remember as a kid. And I never got to see. I saw the Power Rangers Turbo TV show, but not the movie, so hopefully it'll be good. It stars the Green Ranger, so, you know, he was pretty badass. So, yeah. Last movie I picked up is Kiss Me Kate. I'm a big sucker for these old, Broadway musical style movies. The costume designs, the color, the singing scenes, just they really did some really good musicals back in the day, so had to pick it up. So yeah, that was the collection pickup video. Like I said, lots and lots to talk about. Like always, I like to make a recommendation to you guys, so I'm gonna go with Atlantis, The Lost Empire. Really good movie. Doesn't get the love it deserves. And game-wise, I'm gonna go with the one that is going to consume the most time in my life. Pokemon Fire Red. Because I love me some Pokemon, and I'm gonna recreate that team. Dagnabbit. Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and for all your support. And until I see you again, this is Vargas XX78, signing off.